What's up, everyone? Sean Count Blagrith here with an album review, this time of the 2012 Nuclear Blast Records release of Nile at the Gates of Sethu. I believe that's how you say the name. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Nothing really I can say. If you're not familiar with Nile, they are a technical death metal band with Egyptian themes and have a lot of Egyptian Middle Eastern influence in their music. And it's always been something that's very unique and very, very good. I myself am actually a rather big Nile fan. I don't own their entire discography, but I own 3 albums. Ithophalic being my personal favorite, with In Their Darkened Shrines a close second. I was very excited for this album when I heard that they announced it. And I had such high hopes because the last album, I don't own it, but my friend does, and I listened to it many times with him, is just incredible. Whom the Gods Detest was an extremely technical, fast, brutal, in-your-face yet unique piece of technical death metal. I was so happy with how great that record was. As a Nile fan, it was like Christmas. And I had very high expectations for this because they're Nile. They're not just some run-of-the-mill technical death metal band. They're Nile. Well, At the Gates of Sethu comes out. And I've listened to it. And I've listened to it twice. I have a splitting headache. This is one of the most trying records I've had to sit through this year, and pretty much since Illud Divinium Insanus. Maybe the new Burzum was a real tough listen. This was even worse. I don't even know where to begin with all the flaws on this. The riffs are your run-of-the-mill pseudo-tech death riffs. Nothing that special that you won't find on, like, let's say Ithophalic. Nothing that is very special for Nile. And that's something that they've never really been known for, is really breaking from their style. But this was generic to the point where I felt like I was listening to some random tech death band demo. And the demo part really comes in with the production and the guitar sound being paper thin. I've heard black metal records that have a thicker, more robust tone than what is on this album. It's so uneven, the mix as well, because the rhythm is very quiet. The bass is very quiet. The lead is right up in your face. It is screeching at your eardrums. It is annoying. The solos are decent, but nothing that really blew me away like every other record that they've put out did. The guitar work is just such a disappointment, and I'm not even through with how the vocals and the drums sound. This album is just really, really bad. If this was not my first time listening to Nile, if this was my first time listening to Nile, and I didn't know what this band was really about, and let's say this is my first exposure to them, I would think that this is pretty decent. But this isn't for Nile. Nile I hold to a higher standard than most bands. The riffs are just mediocre. There's no way around it. It's boring. It's basic for Nile. It's nothing that blew me away or will blow you away. There's nothing about this record that is even worthy of a purchase, and I love to buy albums, and I may buy it, maybe just to shoot it for a video. This record is awful. The drums are triggered beyond the point of even being listenable or sounding like a drum kit. It almost sounds like a drum machine. I love George's drum work. He is one of my favorite drummers in death metal. He's got some of the fastest double bass and blast beats I've ever heard. His single foot is faster than any other double foot. Like, I have never, ever heard a drummer that's like him. This is very weak for him because all he does is blast beats and quick little rolls. And the quick rolls get on your nerves after a while because everything sounds like crap. The cymbals are very quiet in the mix, so all you hear is kick and snare with a little bit of hi-hat or ride, maybe some crash and shine, a splash, whatever. But it's all the same sounding crap. And it's not that good because, as I said, he can't carry a blast that long anymore on this record because he's constantly going from a blast to a fill, and it just stays in that formula, and it gets so annoying. The vocals on this are what really kills this album for me because, I'm going to be honest, they were a big influence on my vocals. And this is just awful. The only good thing I can say is the clean vocals, and I know that was a lot of people, a lot of people really ragged on when they heard the first song from this, and I actually enjoyed that. The rest of the vocals I hated. The mids and the more higher stuff sound like shouts, and the lows sound like an old man with emphysema trying to mimic a bad death metal vocalist. It's almost like they're being a parody of themselves, and these vocals just don't help the cause. It really, really sucks. I mean, I've heard so many like newer bands that even do mic cupping and use effects sound better than that, and I despise vocal effects. I don't know what the hell happened to Nile between Whom the Gods Detest and this record, but whatever happened, I don't want it to ever happen again to this band. I know I'm going to get people angry. I know there's going to be hate comments, probably going to get some death threats, some broken English comments from South America. And before anyone says, "Ah, you're approving comments," yes, and that's due to something else that has happened. All my videos are like that. If you don't like it, don't watch, don't comment. I don't care. This record is terrible. This is probably the worst record I've heard this year, and the biggest letdown I've had this year, along with the new Burzum. For a score, I am going to sadly have to give this a 3. I'm going to give it 3 just because I respect the musicianship behind what they're doing, and I have respect for Nile. I don't know what's going on in their heads with this. Hopefully they'll never do anything like this again. Hopefully their production will sound better than a demo, and the mixing will sound better than a demo. If they can't do vocals anymore, find a vocalist because they could do something much better. And I like the clean vocals. That's the only reason why I'm giving it a 3. Everything else is just a terrible mix. Mediocre technical death metal riffs. Annoyingly loud solos that aren't even that great. No real substance. Just boring drum work. And some of the most terrible vocals I've heard in a long time. So 3 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And as always, keep it metal.